Epic Machine, and you can probably kind of guess what we're building today. That's right, it is it's SOO, so I've been calling it the Soo line. I don't actually know if that's accurate. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it verbally. Um, I'm gonna call it the Soo line, because that's funny. Um, but it's 1003. This is I think one of three preserved locomotives of the Soo line. Um, Pretty sure it's one of three. I know there's two Pacifics, but this is specifically the Mikado, because I have not memories of this one, but I've seen a lot of different videos of this one running around in preservation, and it's very fun. Honestly, I'm a fan of this one. It's very cute, very quaint. Um, I don't really have a lot of factoids regarding this, mainly just that it uh, went through a lot of different phases of wearing different parts. I think like the cab roof was changed out at some point. The pilot was changed out. Um, Something about feed water heaters. Yeah, I skimmed my sources. I didn't necessarily go through and read everything, but yeah, very interesting looking loco. It's a very interesting looking Mikado as well because not only does it have okay, so Mikados typically do have the large size wheels because they're freight locos, and smaller wheel means more wheel on the rail, and that means more traction. Um, because that's also the reason that larger passenger locomotives have the larger like XL wheels, um, like the 80-inch drivers or whatever you want to call them. Um, they have those because did big wheel mean little rotation to make go longer distance, basically. So like at the same RPM, a larger wheel is gonna go farther more efficiently. Whereas a larger wheel, you need a lot more RPM and a lot more power to get that thing up to that kind of speed. But yeah, these were used in passenger and freight, and these have more of a passenger style pilot, which is strange for a Mikado. Um, but yeah, so this thing as well is funny because the last time that I actually went through and built one was uh, back uh, during, or I think it was like actually after Steam and Rails Season 1 ended, but it was when I was prepping the locomotives initially for Centralia and such. Um, and yeah, that was back when I did my first like 4014 big boy build where I had like the 3 wide boiler, and it was a full 5 wide locomotive, but it was meant to run on crate standard gauge. Um, but yeah, very very fun thing. Very fun to go through and do a locomotive like this. Which this was a relatively easy build for me, honestly. I had a decent bit of fun doing this. Especially in this newer style, the main thing that I've had to worry about is the whole cab area. Just because I've started doing the kind of rear windows, of which the suit line 1003, the one I couldn't find any evidence that there were actually windows back here. All I could find was a picture of a model that just had a bunch of like canopies like on either side, as if like to fully close off the cab. Um, and this is another one of those locomotives with the 3 wide cabs. Um, yes, I'm still unsure. Okay, so I'm still unsure if it's just they're putting a like 484 like larger locomotive style cab on a smaller loco, and so that's why it looks so big, or if like it genuinely is just a bigger cab. Because like on a 484 or a 482, like that the cab looks like it's about like 2 blocks wide, like that's about accurate. Or something like this, it's about it looks 3 blocks wide. Like this looks right to me, but I don't know if it actually is right. Uh, and then of course, specifically for this locomotive, because I've never done a Sioux Line loco before, I did do this beautiful little card right here for the lettering. I'm not entirely happy with it. I feel like I could have pushed the letters a little bit closer together. Like the S should technically be a little bit more squashed down, but the letters themselves, like that's the thing with like the letter E's, you can only really make it like 5 pixels tall without it looking weird. So yeah. Anyways, so that is the loco, and we can go ahead and get into building it. So first off, We don't need to grab a station because we already have one in the workshop. Go do our create new train. And we're going to start by doing a single axle right there. I was actually going through the Blocks and Bogies catalog earlier, or not Blocks and Bogies, the extended Bogies Borked, and there's still a few bogies in here that are brass, and I tend to use Teacup's brassless bogey pack because I feel like it works better to have more gray style palettes when it comes to trains, whereas like if you have all that brass on the undercarriage, it looks slightly strange in my opinion. Like yes, it looks vanilla, yes, it looks like Create, but I'm also trying to make more realistic looking trains, like as best as I can, right? Um, but anyways, yeah, I was looking through that catalog with the purpose of trying to find all the ones that still have brass on them so that I can then go and make um, a new brassless bogey pack, or at least an updated one specifically for those. But anyways, so this is our wheel configuration. We're going to do a single axle up here. I'm not going to do the medium. I'm going to do the small one because I feel like it looks better, fits the size better. Then we're going to do the 080, and I did right click it so it's facing towards this way, but we do have to right click it again before we assemble it because otherwise it's going to flip itself around. But we're using specifically the large size wheels and not the XL ones. And then we've got the medium trailing bogey back here. And yeah, okay. So next, we do have to do the tender, of which they do use specifically, I think, what am I doing here? Right, the double wheels. I think I'm using, it's not the freight pilots, am I? Or pilot bogies. Nope, it's the arch bars. Gotcha. There we go. Alright. So we're going for, so it's a 3-wide cab, so we're doing 1, 2, 3. This is going to be our footboard, and then the bogey starts here. I think if that math is correct, I think it is. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3 blocks between the bogies and put that right there. Of course, I do think that is right. Yeah, it's about 3 blocks. Trailing truck, 1, 2, 3. Trailing truck, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's right. Perfect. And now we get to do the frame. So we're going to grab some gray steel, specifically our block, our tank, and our corrugated. We're not going to throw anything in the front, because this is specifically where the pilot goes. And to put the pilot here, we put it 1 block ahead of the leading wheel and it would look strange. So we're putting the pilot here. But we're doing tank, corrugated, corrugated, tank, tank, corrugated, corrugated, tank, and then at the end we're going to do a gray steel block. And then for the tender, we get to do a shaft, not the gantry, and a bracket, and a girder. Now the shaft we're going to place facing towards the tender. Of course, we do need a wrench for that. Place our bracket, and then girder, girder, girder. Okay. Alright, and now we get to do the cylinders. Of course, this does not have any kind of caging on it. Leading trucks typically don't, but they do sometimes, especially on Berkshires, but I've never seen a Mikado with one. Now let's see, how did we do these cylinders up here? Okay, we're going to grab a black steel tank, a copycat slab with a black steel tank inside, and then our copycat layer, and a secondary copycat layer, specifically the stacked half ones. So we're going to do tank right there, we're going to go under, and place our slab to fill it out, and place our layer over top of that, and our half layer over top of the slab. So this way we get relatively large filled out cylinders. This is a black locomotive smoke box right here, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Grab our copycat layer, grab our stacked half layer, and there we are. Do want to make sure that this is rotated so that these both are facing each other, so that way this looks a little bit cleaner. Then we get to do the valve gear, of which we're going to need an andesite scaffolding. Scaffolding. A slice with a vertical andesite sheet metal, a half panel with another vertical andesite sheet metal. Grab our shaft and bracket, and then a copycat bite panel with an anisotropy ally block inside. Place our scaffolding, do 1, 2, 3, 4, because I believe it is the third axle it is driven. Yes, as it is on the bogey. Okay, good. I'm gonna place a shaft on the third axle right here. That is third from the front. I'm gonna place our bite panel on the lower right-hand quadrant and place our half panel above the shaft. Not above, like to the side of the shaft. And then that is gonna be our valve gear. And then we're gonna do this, this. Basically just repeat the entire thing on the other side. Now we do have a bit of a special valve gear here in that we do also have some lubricator cyclers. So we're going to do that a little bit later once we get to the running board. Grab our brackets and throw those right there. Oop, right there. We also have to fill in that bite panel, so we're going to grab our SI ally block and plop that in there. Okay. Valve gear's done. Now we get to do the trailing truck, of which we're going to grab a basin, some copycat headstocks with the metal supports inside, some copycat slices with gray loco metal inside, these slice corners as well, and I'm going to grab a vertical slice to replicate that pipe. So, basin, headstock, make sure the, so by default it'll likely place more like that, but that's kind of clippy, so we're going to rotate it twice to bring out the metal support a little bit more. Then from there we get to do 1, 2, I believe it is, and then 3, and then 4. There we go. And then 1, 2, place that right. No, hold on. That? This might be wrong. Go back and check just real quick. Nope, I got that right. Well, okay. No, I didn't. Hold on. So this, so delete the bite panel, or not the bite panel, the corner slice. So we're creating more so this shape, where all of the slices going horizontally are going to be on layer 2, as well as the corner slice connecting these two pipes. But the vertical slice is going to be a single layer, because if we were to up it to layer 2, these don't connect, and so therefore we just have two adjacent textures. Which that's one rule of if you're using connected textures for something, is if you have two adjacent textures and they don't connect but they're meant to, it looks bad, so you want to replace one of those textures with a different block. So here, what I would do is just down that to layer 1 so they look different, because this is a very different looking texture towards that, in that this is just thicker. Okay, now we have to repeat not the exact same thing on the other side, but a very similar thing. Once again, rotate the metal bracket, or metal support. Now let me check what we did over here. So we've got pretty much our standard pipe for whenever it comes to doing that single side pipe. And we've got the gray fluid pipe right here. We're going to throw our slices down up till here. I believe, or no, it's still there. Unless it isn't. Hold on, let me check this. No, okay. It is above the last wheel, so this does occur. We throw that there? Okay. Okay, so we're doing an L shape basically here, and then we're doing 2 more pipes up to here. And then as well, we did miss the bar panels below the basin, so we're going to go and add those. Boop. Jump up, and then do this one down here. And then that is our base done. Alright, and then from here we get to do the cab. So we're going to do our black smoke boxes, some stacked half layers with our black Locometal, and then our, what was that, these smoke boxes. Then we're going to grab some vertical half layers and this black tank to fill that in. So we're going to start here and do 1, 2, 3. Same thing on the other side. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. And then above that, we're going to place some support blocks and start on our half layers. And then we're going to go and place all of our vertical half layers. We're not going to correct those quite yet. Place some more support blocks. And repeat on the other side. And there we go. We're going to keep those there so when we do the roof it's a little bit easier. Then on either side here, we're going to break those and place some horizontal black steel tanks. Boop, boop. There we go. Alright, and now we get to do the cab roof, of which is bordered by some black / Locometal, and of course, as always, we have filled in the cut blank black stone. So we're going to grab these layers, a slab, and then these layers as well. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. On the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Grab our slabs and put those right about there. Now we're not going to do the middle here for the trapdoor because the tender is short enough to where we can actually push the cab out to have a full overhang as it should. So we're going to take advantage of that and not do the bites and steps we typically do for the overhang, and we're just going to do the full block right there. So there we go. And then so that way we place the slab or the trapdoor right here. Hold on. Trapdoor. Of which you can just, oh, I fucked that up. There we go. Of which you can just replace this with any form of dark oak trapdoor, or a number of different things, I'd say. Like copycat trapdoors with any amount of black steel or black Locometal inside, those will also work. So next we're gonna, oh wait, actually, no, I fucked that up. We do have to use the bites and steps. That's my bad. I might be thinking of a different logo, because I've been building a lot lately. Because currently I'm also going through and trying to redo my New York Central roster. I am eventually going to do a video on that. But yeah, right now we're going to focus on the sew line, and we're going to do some horizontal slices here to border the cab, and we're going to do a corner slice right there, and then do two vertical slices on the side. Corner slice, horizontal, and there we go. Alright, and now we have to do the front of the cab, which is going to be a little bit of a tedious process because this is going to remind you a little bit of Norfolk and Western number 475. But we're going to grab some bites, some more bites, some bites, some more bites. Which, were these bites actually? Yeah, they were bites. Okay, interesting. I feel like I would have done that differently nowadays, but that's fine. So I think that's, let me go and redo this real quick. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotcha. So basically, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So top left is a horizontal black Locometal smoke box. Top right and bottom right are specifically these black Locometal windows, single pane ones. You can replace these with dark oak ones. That's also fine. Below that are going to be some black Locometal smoke boxes. And then to the bottom left quadrant of the top set of white panels, you're going to do a industrial iron plating, and then below that also 2 industrial iron platings. Do the same thing on the other side, just mirror it. And there we go. Now, as well, for the firebox, we're going to have to push these out just a little bit. Oh, I fucked that up. Yeah, sometimes my NBT pick block doesn't quite work. But basically, anything with the industrial iron plating we're going to bring out by 1 with the bytes. And we're going to go ahead and grab that in there. We're going to grab more bytes, more bytes, more bytes, and more bytes. I don't know why, but saying more bytes makes me want to say Morbius. And focal stems. Anyways, I'm going to bring that out by 1 again, and then we're going to do the same thing. Byte, 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 byte. Now, of course, we're using industrial iron plating so that the textures actually connect, and we're using bytes specifically because nothing else really connects to bytes necessarily. Like steps, slabs, they just don't. So typically, you will want to just use bytes. It's also a thing where, so with Locometal specifically, or with these new textures at least, when you put them in bytes, the bolts tend to get a little horizontal like that. It's strange. I have to maybe go through and correct that on the textures. But basically, if you just do... Okay, the industrial iron does not have that issue whatsoever. Like, you can tell there's no flaws in the texture here. It connects perfectly. It's flawless, it's seamless, it looks very nice. So that's why we're using that. And then, of course, we do have to implement a few more cab details before we're done. And that there is, behind the set of controls, a copycat... more copycat bytes, okay. We are going to grab a set of controls here. I'm going to grab a blast furnace, a blaze burner, and some seats. These can be any color you want. I just use the kelp ones because they're a little bit more neutral. But on this middle block right here, we're going to do some horizontal black Locometal smoke boxes. Below that, we're going to do a set of bytes. And then from there, we're just going to fill in the rest of this with bytes. So basically, this block looks like you've got the bottom whole row is bytes. You've got the sideways smoke boxes, and then more bytes on top of that. So you've got kind of this stair shape going on. Then we get to do our controls right here. We're also going to go in through the blast furnace right there, set a controller under the blast furnace so that we have something for our blaze burner to interact with. And then on either side of the cab, we're going to add our seats on either open space. And there we go. That is going to be our cab. So now all that's left is we're going to do our tank and whistle, which I believe I have this in the right spot. So tank, whistle, okay, 1, 2. Alright, and then from there we're going to go and start at the front of the boiler, work our way back to the firebox, and we're going to need this fabulous smoke box door that I also crafted specifically for this build. And the Suline 1003 does have this very unique shape of having the lamp at the very top of the door, which I don't necessarily understand fully, but that's what it looks like. That's probably like the one design feature that I don't really agree with, is having it up there like that. It does make for a more unique look, but I don't like it necessarily personally. But anyways, so we're going to grab our brushed gray steel. We're going to grab a step also with brushed gray steel. Grab our gray steel boilers and our steps also with the gray steel boilers. Also, we're going to grab these bytes on either side, and then we can go and start constructing our smoke box. So we're going to go up 1 block and start building out our brushed steel just above right here. Then we're going to do our gray steel boilers just behind that, and then fill in those steps accordingly, although we're going to leave out these bottom steps because these are where the bytes go. So we're going to do 2 bytes with the brushed gray steel. And then ahead of that, we're going to do absolutely nothing. Below that, we're going to do 2 bytes with the metal supports facing outwards. And then we're going to do 2 more bytes ahead of that with brackets facing downwards. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Horizontal gray steel, backward facing metal supports, and then downward facing brackets. Okay. Now we gotta do our smoke box door, and then there you go, that's your smoke box. And we are gonna go ahead and add the smokestack, and then we're gonna go ahead and do our smoke box saddle and our steam pipes, which also need brackets. We're also gonna grab some. We're not gonna scroll through slabs for another 10 minutes. We're gonna grab some slabs. Sorry. Of which we're gonna need our gray locomotives or gray steel, our tank, which we already have, and then our corrugated steel. There we go. Which I've actually been trying out a new technique, which I think looks a little bit better. So we're actually going to go for the riveted pillars instead. Gray, hold on. Let me just go to local metal tab. Oh, okay. There we go. Nice. And we're just going to place those all along the bottom. We're going to need to break a few of these later, but that is entirely fine. And we're going to place our saddle right there. Then we just fill all this in with the gray metal pillars. And there we go. Because the issue I was having before is that we were having the... so essentially, these two textures don't really connect vertically very well, right? They look very strange because you can tell it's meant to be the same texture, it's just, it doesn't look quite right. But unlike with the tanks, how you can simply just place them vertically and they suddenly look entirely different, here doesn't work as well. So I think just putting a completely different texture over the top of those works a little bit better. Especially it being as bolted as it is, it looks more like a frame, I'd say, than it does just an extended version of whatever this base block is. Anyways, we're going to throw in our black pipes, and we're going to throw some brackets over those as well. And we're going to throw our smokestack up here, of which, again, we're using Teacup's potentially public, potentially not public smokestack texture pack, which has these little short smokestacks. I should actually probably ask them about that at some point. That might be a good idea. But anyways, now for the rest of the boiler, we're going to grab some black steel tanks, some copycat steps with a vertical black steel tank and a black steel block. Grab some local metal boilers, and then beside that, we're going to grab some black local metal smoke boxes, as well as that block in some steps and some copycat half layers. So we're going to place our tanks horizontally, of course. We're going to place our steps as such, place our smoke boxes 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to place our tanks as 1, 2. Again, fill those in with the steps, which we're going to need to correct that later, but that's fine. We're going to place the smoke boxes as well as our steps for the smoke boxes. And then for our running board, to start off, we're going to start with these copycat half layers, which we're going to go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or, sorry, no, that's not how you do that. We're going to start from the bottom, so that way we can actually place this down as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and love that connection. And then same thing on the other side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 1. There we are. And now we are going to rotate these steps so that these light sides connect. And perfect. Okay. That is going to be our boiler. And so now we're going to start on the top of the boiler. Why not? So we're going to go for a copycat step, as well as these copycat slices with black locometal inside. And of course, this is a horizontal pillar. Or not pillar, black steel tank. We're going to grab this copycat layer. We're going to grab some black slash locometal. And then that should be about that. So this is going to be our sand dome, I believe. Of which, for that, we're going to need to place our black slash locometal. Above that, we're going to go to layer 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 1, 2. Is that correct? No, it's not. So 1, 2. So basically, the center full block layer is going to be up to layer 2, and the slices on either side are also going to be up to layer 2. Then below these slices, we're going to place our steps. Is it layer 2? It is not. It is layer 3. My bad. So everything is going to be up a layer, so that gives it more of a concealed shape, is what I would call it, as opposed to the very blocky one that we've been using. And then we're going to go back over here and grab what we need for our steam dome, which is going to be just a single black copycat layer. Then we're going to grab our bell, our dynamo, and then our candles for our whistle, or for our safety valves, rather, I believe. Of which I could not find where to put the whistle on this thing, actually, I don't think. Because, like, that's one thing, is, like, when you're building a locomotive, you may run into a lot of obstacles in regards to finding good references, and finding a good reference for specifically the top of the boiler, like a good like top-down view, is very hard for trains. Like you would think maybe there would be a lot of videos of people sitting on underpasses while they watch the trains pass, or even pictures from that, right? 'Cause that's typically how most enthusiasts get their viewpoints, and that's the safest way to do so. Um, but sadly, no. I have not been able to find good reference images when it comes to that. So the best you're going to get are models, and models are not always fully accurate. Um, that's why I tend not to trust my models very heavily for um, references, is because there are just a lot of things that tend to not necessarily align properly. Or they tend to uh, include very hyper-specific features that are basically nowhere else. But we're going to place our bell behind the sand dome right here. We're going to place our dynamo in front of the two candles we're placing as the whistle here, or as the safety valves. And then here we're going to place our steam dome up to 1, 2, 3, or layer 3. Okay. That is our full boiler. Let me take a little sip of water right here. And remember to stay hydrated. So, now we get into the running board. And to do this, we're going to need some black horizontal slices, some black vertical slices. And we're going to grab this copycat fluid pipe right here as well, and this copycat board with a black local metal inside. So, we're going to go, I think it's on this layer. 1, 2, place one here as well. Specifically not on this layer with the, or not on this block with the steam pipe. We're going on this layer with the bottom half of the smoke box. So, looks like we're going to go about 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 2, and then go 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop. 4. Come on. 4. There we are. Do have to replace that, sadly. 1, 2, 3. Alright. And then from here we get to do our 1 and 2. And we get to throw our pipe, not there, but there instead. And then we're gonna throw a filler block right there, throw our board in front of that, and then above that we're gonna grab these slices and throw those there as well. Okay. And then we need these half layers as well to throw on top to fill in our running board. So we're gonna place that just next to these slices on 1 and 2. And there we go. So basically what we're doing is we're creating this shape where we've got our slices flat, and then we're placing the vertical ones just next to them on either side here of these two blocks. Then adjacent, we're doing 1, 2. Or basically 3, and then 4, and then above these we're doing these two copycat slices. So that way these all work uniformly in one line. Now the textures may not connect, but these are small enough to where it doesn't really matter, and they already look like they connect enough anyways, to where this is the same as that, and sure there is kind of a block or a pixel in the to block off this gap right here, but eh, it looks fine. I don't have a problem with this. But yeah, that is the general vibe that we're going for this running board. And then of course we do get to do a few other special features that I did miss out on earlier, of which we do need to do the boiler supports, of which those are going to be 1, 2, just right there. And to create those, we're going to use some industrial iron supports. Yes, here we go. And we're going to rotate those so they're facing vertically. Oh, bingo. Alright, I do want to make sure I didn't just throw in another one in the middle anywhere. And I did, actually. Okay, so we have to place another one right about there, above the drive reel bogey. Okay, we can go and delete that. And then because our firebox is right here, we're going to go ahead and delete these 2 blocks right here as well. I am jumping around a little bit because I am realizing that I did forget a few features, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to make the executive decision to finish the running board first, then go into the firebox. So, we're going to grab these copycat pipes, this copycat step, these 2 slices, and I'm going to grab our lubricator, as well as these 2 pieces right here. So, we're going to do our lubricator cycler first, of which is going to be a single copycat slice, again with the vertical andesite sheet metal. There you go. Same thing with this little half panel right here, except we're not going to place it there. We're actually going to go in a block. We're going to use that as support and place it right there. And there you go. Now we did forget a single block here, and that we do need this andesite alloy, or this andesite, yes, andesite alloy filled bite panel. There we go. And this also has to go in 1 block. There we go. All right, now to go ahead and do our, what was it called? Power reverse, yes. Place our cylinder right here, which is just a copycat step. And then beside that, we're going to place a single slice, and then 2 more, or another vertical slice right there is what we're going to do. Which I believe that's accurate, and yes it is. Okay, perfect. So yeah, all it is we got 2 copycat slices with andesite, I keep saying andesite. It's not right. It's very, what is the term for that? It's very like mid-Atlantic is what that is. But anyways, you've got a copycat step with a black steel tank placed horizontally. We've got 2 more copycat slices, the first of which has a vertical bit of andesite sheet metal, and the second of which has a horizontal andesite sheet metal. And we're also going to grab these pipes, grab these brackets, and we're going to place them here and here. There we go. Place brackets under those. Now the only issue with this is I'm realizing that this is a design flaw, and that this pipe and these, okay, so these don't all connect because they have brackets inside them. Once I reassemble and disassemble the train, it's going to reset those. It's going to recheck whether these pipes are going to connect or not, and usually the check succeeds and these pipes decide to connect regardless of the brackets. So that creates an issue of which I'm not sure how to solve because that works with any pipes. Like the only way you can solve that is by using create colored, of which specifically blocks any pipes of 2 color from connecting with each other. Whereas copycat pipes can connect with literally anything. We're just gonna leave it as is and hope it works. If it doesn't, we'll get to it when it becomes an issue. So, we're gonna grab some more copycat bytes for our our firebox. We're actually not gonna do that. We're gonna grab these copycat stacked half layers first, so that way we can have our little superheater tubes. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place one on the front right there. Is that not right? Interesting. I don't know why it's not letting me place that. Because of that? Yes, it is. But then I don't have the opportunity to place this. Yes, oh, I do actually. Okay, never mind. That works. Yeah. So we're going to use the half layers to wrap around this pipe right here. And sadly, there is no half corner piece, so that's going to be left open, but it is what it is. Make sure that's facing horizontally. And then we're going to move this vertical slice so that it is like directly below this board right here. So, boop. There we go. And now we get to do the firebox, finally. So, we're going to do bite, 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 bite. Actually, these are just all bites. I can probably just, yeah. So, we're going to grab some industrial iron just to fill this in. Specifically the plating from Design and Decor. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And there we go. And we're specifically going to leave this corner out so that it doesn't clip with the wheel. And it already kind of does clip with the wheel, but this bit is slightly less obvious, so it looks fine. And then, of course, the firebox does go well into the cab right back here, thus to keep the logo a little bit shorter. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing with the bites. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. That is our firebox. And now we get to do the other side of the running board, of which that is going to be done with some more horizontal slices. And we're going to grab some vertical slices, a corner slice, and yeah. This way we do get to do specifically the little arch for the air compressor, of which we do need a single copycat layer for. And let me read this. So this goes to the dome, and okay, that's fine. So we're going to break this block. I'm going to place my air compressor right here, of which there is a way to recreate this without the without specifically the model that I have made for this. You can just use some copycat bites with some industrial iron boilers. I'm going to place bite, 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 bite. Or even you can place it one block up. You can do bite, 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 bite. And do 1, 2, 3, 4. But then you've got these center blocks. Oh, hold on, I fucked this up. There we go. And then there we're going to go ahead and do... You could do several things here. You could do some industrial iron supports. But basically, you just want something that mimics the idea that there is piping between these sets. But it creates a relatively similar shape to my air compressor. Not exactly the same size, but it is relatively similar, and it looks relatively nice. But yeah, we're going to go and delete that for now, because I have my model. And then from there, we're going to do a single vertical slice, corner slice, sorry. We're going to do 2 horizontal slices, a vertical slice beside that. We're going to do a copycat horizontal slice on top of that. Then we're going to do our corner beside that. Then below that, we're going to do our vertical. And then I believe that's how that goes, is it not? How did I do this? Right, okay, no, I've got this all wrong. So break these. We're going to place these slices on top of the industrial iron bites right here. So not on top of the running board right here, we're placing them one block down. Replace the corner in here. Or, sorry, no, not the corner there. We're placing the vertical slice right there. The corner on top of the vertical. Horizontal beside the vertical. And then below this, we're placing another vertical slice. And that way we get to do our running board at this height. Okay, so that should line up with doing the running board right here. Same on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, nope, hold on, 3, 4, 5, and there we go. And that creates our little arch. And now we're gonna add a little top to this by doing a copycat half layer stacked up to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna do that as well, extended outward by 1, with a horizontal black locomotive smoke box. Okay, ain't that a mouthful? So, now what we get to do is we're going to do some more pipes, specifically the copycat pipes with black locomotive inside them. Do some more superheater tubes, in that with the horizontal industrial iron supports, and we're going to grab a copycat half layer to go with that, as well as some more copycat half layers. Or no, we can probably just make these the same. It'll be okay. Of which, of course, I did the dumb thing and deleted the block I was looking at rather than one in my inventory. And then we're going to grab industrial, or sorry, not industrial, we're going to grab our copycat bite panel, because we don't actually have room to do a second lubricator cycler, so we're just going to leave that right there, because this one does have the two that are obvious, at least. Okay, so now we get to do, let me check and make sure this is right. Yeah, we get to do what I believe is our air reservoir with this pipe right here. And then beside that, we get to do some copycat half layers to fill in the running board with 1, 2. Of course, we're going to delete that and instead use our smoke boxes, which is going to place horizontally. And then beside that, we're going to place this with another horizontal industrial ion support up to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then place our other side of the half panel, and there we go. So, or half layer rather. Now, these are stacked half layers and go 1, hold on, sorry. Go 1, 2, not you, 2, 3, not, where did that even place? That placed another one somewhere where it shouldn't have gone. A mystery. Oh, I know where that placed. No, I don't? Ah, there it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, so below the bite, very precisely, we're going to place our stacked half layers. 2, 3. Once again, I've placed it incorrectly, and there we go. So we're going to go up to the air compressor right here, place them out to here, then let them wrap around using this half layer right here. Okay, so those are your running boards. Now from there we get to do the pilot, and then after that the tender. So we get to grab, first off, this is a copycat layer with an industrial iron, not industrial iron, a metal stretch. Sitting like this for too long, it makes me stiff. So we've got these metal supports, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, so that way we mitigate the clipping. And then we're going to grab a industrial iron catwalk stair, as well as the railing that coincides with it. Right here. And then from here we get to grab the rest of the pilot. So we're going to grab bite, headstock with knuckle couplers, bite, more bite panels, and then these bites as well, sure. We're going to place 2 sets of stairs on top of each other. We're going to do these industrial iron catwalk railings on the inner sides of the lower catwalk stairs. Then we're going to grab our bites and go 1, 2, 3, 4, of which the top left and top right are going to be horizontal gray smoke boxes, and the bottom one is going to be our iconic industrial iron boiler placed vertically. To the left of that is going to be our metal support placed so it's facing towards the boiler. And then the same thing mirrored on the other side. To place our knuckle coupler directly on top of the bogey block right here. Place our bite panels on either side. And then below that, we get to do the rest of our pilot. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, of which it's going to be specifically a deep slate corner trim from Handcrafted. And we're going to place that in and rotate it till it faces towards us. And then place an industrial iron support placed vertically. All right. Now, sadly, because this is a single wheel in the front locomotive, because of where the glue is, you can't, or because of where the bogie is, you can't break this to place a block, because otherwise you can't assemble the train because the station thing goes right here, right? So what you end up having to do is just leave this block blank. But thankfully, due to the create style coupling, this is here to kind of fill in that gap, as strange as it looks. But yeah, so that is your entire locomotive. And so now we get to do the tender, of which we're going to grab some copycat slabs. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then from there, we're going to do some more smoke boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, that is our base of the tender. Now we get to do these copycat slabs, of course, with our black / locometal to break things up, and then our black locometal smoke boxes. And then beyond that, nothing else quite yet. We're gonna go keep it simple for now. We also are gonna fill this in with our black / locometal. I'm gonna place these slabs, double layer them above all of these smoke boxes. And there we go. Okay. So, now we get to place the back of the tender, which is going to be all black / locometal as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then below here is also going to be some black / locometal, so 1, 2, 3. And adjacent to that, we get to place these copycat panels with industrial iron in them, and our black locometal end ladders. We also need to do the back of the cab, of which is going to be some copycat vertical layers, or half layers rather, with our vertical smoke boxes inside. Grab these bite panels as well. That should be good. So, place our copycat panels right here, here, and here. Place our half layers against the cab here, and we're gonna need a single block to place that there. Same thing on the other side. Again, vertical smoke boxes. And inside here, we're gonna place bite panel, bite panel, bite panel. Oh, hold on. Block there. Bite panel, bite panel, bite panel, bite panel. There we go. Now that does unfortunately make us you do have to crouch to get inside the cab, but this is an accurate thing, so I'm going to leave it for now. It is a little annoying, so if you want to remove it, I don't blame you whatsoever, but it is for accuracy's sake. Then we're going to place our single first ladder. Then we're going to grab a copycat step with a bracket inside so that our other ladder has a thing to glue to. Alright, so place that there, go under here, place our step below that, or behind that, bracket facing towards it. And then same thing once again. Boop, and boop. Okay, now we're going to do the tender side of the cab, which is a relatively simple process that involves a lot more bytes. So we're going to need, this is basically the same internal structure as the K4 class that I did. So we're going to do a door code cabinet, we're going to do some train controls, we're going to grab byte, 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 byte. So, cabinet, We're going to place some filler blocks, place our train controls on top of the cabinet. And for byte 1, on the back layer, we're going to do some black slash locometal. Above that, some more black slash locometal. And then in front of the bottom layer, we're going to do... Oh, that's not right, actually. Right, I see. Okay. We're going to do some outward-facing stripped dark oak logs, as well as some black locometal smoke boxes. Then above that, we're going to do our bracket for our little hand crank, and then some more black smoke boxes. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect. Okay, that is our entire cab. So now we get to do the rest of the tender, including the bunker and the tank and such. So for that, we're going to need some slice. No, we'll do slices later. We'll do the tender frame next, I think. So for that, we're going to need some copycat layers. Actually, here, we'll just fully reconstruct this. So, need some... Grab these copycat layers, our vertical half layers, and then our stacked half layers. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. And then place these about to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then byte panels are actually going to go right here, just as they also go here. And then from here, we're going to do some layers 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to repeat that pattern to the other side. So we're going to do byte panels, layer, layer, stacked half layers. Then layer, layer, place some filler blocks here. And then we get to do our stacked half layers, and then our byte panels, and then our copycat layers. And there we go. Awesome. Okay, now we get to go ahead and do the filling in process, of which is some black steel boilers, some black steel tanks, corrugated black steel, and then we're going to need these blackstone corner trims. So, I'm going to fill those in right here, place them facing towards the cab. And this one back here is going to place facing away from the cab. And then we're going to place these the boilers facing towards the cab, all the way down to here. Same with this one. And then we go tank, 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 and then I believe that's it for that. Yes, okay. I'm going to do corrugated to fill all of that in. Get our boilers and place those outwardly as well. And tank, 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 tank. Place our boilers facing outwardly as such. Right there. And then fill in with the corrugated steel. Perfect. Then we got to go and do our blackstone corner trims on the other side once again. And that is that. Almost there. So, from here, we now get the privilege of doing our cab, or rather our tender roof, of which is going to be copycat half layers. And it's going to be not as tall as our cab. It's actually one layer lower, but it is around the same height. We are going to need some filler blocks for that. And that is perfectly fine. So I'm going to grab... How do we actually... Is it a slab? No, we need layers. My bad. Layer. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is that the right side? Yep. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Okay. I believe, is that correct, having those there? No, it is not. So we're actually going to do 1, 2, 3, and just break these inner layers, and we're also going to break these filler blocks in here. And then we get to fill those in with some more black local metal. And there we are. And then from here, the coal bed can also be started on, but I'm not going to do that quite yet because I do want to fill in the rest of this first before it becomes inaccessible. So then we get our copycat layers. We're going to grab a copycat block, or a cut blank blackstone block right here, a local metal end ladder, our black local metal trapdoor, and then we're also going to need these copycat half layers back here, which are all going to go up to layer 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all going to have horizontal corrugated steel inside, black of course, and then adjacent to those are going to be more layers with our cut blank blackstone. You can fill basically all of the rest of this in with our cut blank blackstone except for this block, which is going to house a ladder, and then we're going to place the cut blank blackstone block below that to blend that in. And then we're going to place our layer in here, and then our trapdoor right there. There we go. Okay, so that is our tender mostly filled out. Now we just have to fill it in. Of course, that is going to be done with 10 barrels and 10 tanks. So to accomplish this, we're going to grab first our portable fuel interface and our portable storage interface. Okay. Yep. So we also need to grab our steel tank, or our fuel tank rather. Okay. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, interface. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Place our other fuel interface there, place a barrel here, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I believe as well that we are actually meant to fill these out with barrels, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, so that way it becomes 10. And then that's done, so we get to do our layers over here, of which this is our coal bed, so we're going to go just make a mess basically. Do 1, 2, that's fine. And then do, but we do want to make it look a little even, so we're going to do something more like that. There we are. I'm just going to fill it in with blackstone. Of course, you can use whatever coal substitute you would like, but I like how the blackstone looks. Okay, now we get to do the back of the tender, of which is going to be our diagonal metal supports, a control set, a knuckle coupler, these copycat half panels with vertical industrial iron supports, and then our copycat ladders with industrial iron ladders inside. I'm going to grab this ladder, or no, we don't really need to, but we're going to grab our marker lights, our rear tender light, and that should be good for now. Throw our markers on either side, tender light in the middle. We're going to do our supports right here. We're going to make sure we're holding control to crouch and, yeah, we're holding crouch so that we can face the control away from such, so it faces to the rear, yeah. Throw in some filler blocks. We're going to place our half panels on the lower half right here. Then do our ladders on either side, and our coupler right there. Almost done, just a few things. Now we're going to grab our ladder, grab our sign, and then all we have to do is place our ladders to the right-hand side, and then we're going to place our sign, of which designates that this tender holds, 1 second, 10 barrels for a total of 17,280 items, 10 tanks for a total of 80 buckets, or I believe that's 80,000, or like 8,000 millibuckets, something like that. But yeah, that's all I got for that, except for the lettering, of which I'm going to grab my thing and my other thing. I'm going to place the Soo Line lettering centered for the cab, right there, the 1003. And then, of course, we're going to place our centered Soo Line emblem right there. Both sides, set there as well. And then that should be it for our logo. And all we have to do now is glue it, which ideally should be a pretty simple process. It's going to be very similar to what we did with the Mohawk and the K4, in that we have to glue first the drive wheels to the boiler, then we glue on the pilot, and then we glue all of that together. But we're leaving out specifically the leading truck and the trailing truck. And then, of course, the tender goes all together as one piece. So, first take a sip of water. Okay, so now we get to go ahead and glue. And we're going to start up right about here. Because, of course, bogies do have glue blocks on either side, and they force the blocks to come with them. So this block and this block are going to be redacted. We cannot glue those whatsoever. But the block next to it is fine. So we're going to grab block 1. Did I create a glue there? No. 1. Same thing on the other side, where we're going to not do the cylinder block, but we are going to do this block right here. We're going to come up to here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and do the whole top half of the logo. It's going to be up to here. So we're going to do 1, 2. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and glue on the back of the cab. Or, sorry, not just that, but the full back of the cab. My bad. There we go. And from there, we get to glue, I would say, yes, we're going to glue the trailing truck together, so that's going to entail specifically doing something more so like this. We're going to have to place a block right there, and then we're going to place the next glue right there. And then from there, we can glue the entire side, or both sides of the logo together. So, we're going to do from here up to right here. And we're going to do from down here right up to up here. Same thing, basically. And there you go. Now, only thing left is, or I don't think there's actually anything left for that. No, that's it. That's the logo glued. The only thing I do want to mention is that, once again, as there is a permanent glue block right there, there we go. We're gonna have to like not glue this block to anything right here. Okay. Now what we can do is we're gonna glue the ladders to the tender, and then we're gonna glue the tender all together as one block by placing one down right there at one corner, and then we're gonna use the marker light to go up 1, 2, and glue that all together. And there we go. Okay, and that should be our logo glued. We're gonna hope that worked. Seem to have. Okay. Alright, our pipes have not fucked up yet. Oh, right, we do actually have to... Okay, so our pipes didn't fuck up. Good. But I do actually have to go in and break this to rotate the bogie back around. And there we go. Okay. I'm gonna go through and make sure that nothing fucked up, which I don't think it did. Yeah, should be good. Okay, cool. Assemble that. And now we get to go in and drive the goddamn thing. So we're gonna go sit down, control stand. Beautiful. hmm We're gonna see if we can hit the right track here, which is gonna be I think just about right there. Yep, perfect. Beautiful. Hello. And there you go. Now we're gonna go and get out, of which... So you can't necessarily walk into the cab, you do have to sit down, but to get out is very easy because the blaze burner is non-corporeal. You can just kind of like jump up through it. There you go. Now it does look like we forgot to glue in this block right here. So, oops. Let's go ahead and just wrench this thing back into the shed because I don't necessarily feel like just going back and doing that. Alright. Back this into the shed and pull it forward into the station by holding space, and there we go. Disassemble, and now have to make sure that this glue is done properly. Okay, should be good. Yep, nothing missing. Perfect. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Look at this thing go. Alright, and now we get to pull it back into that track, which I think I got this right once again. But we are gonna pull on the reverse controls to speed this up just a little bit. There we go. Splendid. So, yeah, that is my Suline 1003. It is, I think it's like an L1 Mikado is what they're called, which is really funny because it's next to an L3 Mohawk, which is missing the smoke box somehow. Interesting. Must have been a thing with the Armorer's Workshop parts, just decided to stop existing briefly. But, is what it is. Anyways, yeah, that's about that. I do genuinely hope you enjoyed. Um, I might see if I can do a poll on my channel for the next Loco, because I do have a few ones that I'm looking to do pretty soon here. I don't want to quite show off the builds yet on here, but so I know Southern Railroad 1401 is definitely up there. There's the ATSF Hudson 3450 that I've done as well that I'm looking to go ahead and do a tutorial on at some point. What else have I got? Also looking to do Nickel Plate Road 765. I'm looking to do the Chesapeake and Ohio Kanawha class, their 284, their K4. So I've done the Pennsylvania Railroad K4, and now I want to do the CNO K4. Yeah, there's definitely a select few locos that I could go ahead and do. I could absolutely go do more Pennsylvania Railroad ones, because there are a lot of those preserved. I think doing an E6 Atlantic next might be really fun, actually. I might go ahead and work on that. Um, yeah, but we'll see. The current loco that I am working on is a Boston and Albany Berkshire, number A1, or not number A1, class A1, which is a 284. Which is funny because it's the first Berkshire, it's the first one ever built of that arrangement, in the U.S. at least. Uh, so yeah, no, genuinely I would love to do that. But the main issue with the Boston Albany Berkshire is that uh, there's none still around today. So I would feel slightly strange doing a locomotive that nobody's really going to know, even though it's also for a railroad of which got merged into the New York Central, and then basically all of their locomotives got scrapped. So it's like not really a railroad that's in anybody's periphery whatsoever, sadly. Um, I may still go and do it. I don't know. I might just say fuck it because I do really like the train and it's my channel. I can do what I want. But I do want to focus on doing locos that people know about. Anyways, yeah. Oh, also diesels. Gotta do more diesels. Anyways, okay. Yeah. I don't want to talk for too much longer, but that is Sea Lion 1003. Hope you enjoyed, and bye.